All right.
And I'm letting everybody in.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. So welcome to Women Warriors Winning the Business Battle. I'm Viara Small. I'm the CEO and founder for the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center. This is a national initiative that we've launched here in Southern Dallas to help women veteran-owned businesses scale for success. If you want to know more about our organization, please visit our website at veteranwomensec.org. First off, I want to acknowledge our entire military community. As an Army brat and a Navy veteran, I know the full spectrum of the contributions made by the military community, whether you are a child or a spouse or the actual active duty person. We all make a huge contribution to this nation. And during Military Appreciation Month, I want to do a shout out and invite everybody else to do a shout out. If you are connected to the military community, please let us know in the chat. I am an Army brat and Sister Sella Navy veteran. So please make your contribution and acknowledge that you're here. I salute you all. We know the contributions and the sacrifice. And this is more than just kind of every month is something. This recognition month, that recognition month, but I think Military Appreciation Month is really special, and those in the military community, we need to acknowledge that. We need to check in on each other, particularly now during COVID-19, and make sure that everyone's okay, and we need to be supportive of each other. So thank you again. Before I get started, I want to remind you guys of everything that we've been trying to do to keep you connected during this whole COVID-19 era. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to throw up a poll. We have a couple of poll questions I want you to answer while I'm just kind of going over what we've been doing. We're getting ready to launch a couple of programs. We want to make sure that they're going to be beneficial to all of you. Hey, Holly, I see you. Hi, Shirley, I see you. So I'm going to put those polls up while we do a quick overview. Okay, so first, since April, we have started our Monday morning message. This is every Monday morning. We do our Monday morning message, which is our COVID-19 political update. We did not do this Monday, and we will not do Memorial Day in honor of Memorial Day. We want to keep that sacred, but we will be coming back in June with a full schedule of individuals, keep you up to date what's going at the federal, state, and our local levels. If you have individuals that you think we need to bring onto the program that should be speaking to us and sharing information, you can share that in the chat room, or you can send me an individual email at info@veteranwomensec.org. We've also launched our Trending Thursdays tip, and every session except for the first one with Elizabeth Gore from Alice has been a session that one of our attendees has asked us to do. So we've done mental health and unwind. And this week we're going to be with Joyce Stevens, and she's going to be doing a virtual training. So those of you that want to put your trainings online and you want to understand virtual training platforms, this is definitely a session you will not want to miss. And also the very next week, we will be doing cash flow strategies during COVID-19, or as Brandy likes to say, during crazy times. So get your schedule ready to get connected to these resources and these individuals. They share with you how we can stay on top of what we're doing through COVID-19. So we're about 3 minutes in. I kept to my time. My 5-minute overview has only been 3 minutes. And I want to bring on Shirley, if you're ready, to give us some prep tips for pitching online. Shirley, are you with us? Let me get you unmuted. Shirley?
Hello. Good morning. I'm Shirley Staten. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I just spotlighted you, so take the floor.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. Good morning. Okay. Thank you for attending. Those of you that's interested in doing a pitch today, we are looking for you to be able to, in a short window of time, to be able to clearly state what your purpose of your business, how you can make a difference in your target market, exactly what your target market is, and anything that we can do to help you move your business forward. That's it.
So you want to give them a couple of tips on how to do that, Shirley?
Okay, so the first thing is clearly understanding who your target market is. So if a lot of times people have an ideal of who their target market is, but they don't always go through the process of validating that to really see if their target that they have in mind is interested in what their product is or their service. And so you have to go through a process of doing a sample market or test to your target market so that you can get feedback from them to see, one, if it's really a viable opportunity, and if you need to make any adjustments to make it more appealing to them. The second thing is to start working on how you want to reach that target market. So when you're survey with them, asking them questions like, what's the best way to reach them, so that when you're ready to launch, that you can make sure that you're reaching them, and as well as expanding your overall target. And then the third thing is, do you actually have a plan in place? Do you have all the other pieces so that if you are able to launch your business and grow your business, do you have all your back end operations in place so that you can scale once things actually start rolling? So clearly with the pitch, being able to keep it short and precise, who your target is, how you plan to reach them, and some of your sorry, the background noise, and what your plan is to move forward with the business.
Okay, thank you, Shirley. Is that the end of your tips for us? Shirley?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, great. So what we do each month, if we were at the center, and we're going to pretend like we're at the center, we pick 3 to 5 young ladies to give us their 30-second pitch. They don't know who they're going to be. We just pick someone from the audience. And so I've already randomly picked 3 people, and hopefully everybody's ready. If you own a business, you should be ready on the spot to give your pitch. So I don't want to hear anybody saying you don't want to pitch. And there's $60 on the table. So we will still be doing the $60 gift card. You will get it as an e-gift card this time, instead of us actually handing you a gift card, and that will be sent to you via email. So we picked 3 individuals to do the pitch today. And the first person up is Tracy Harris. Tracy Harris, are you available? Can you hear us, Tracy?
I have to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can. And where are you? Because I want to feature you. I'm not seeing you. I lost you. There you are. So Tracy, I'm going to give you the go for your 30 seconds, and you're going to have 30 seconds to do your pitch. And Holly and Shirley are our pitch. They're our pitch judges, and they'll be determining who out of the 3 ladies that made their pitch had the best pitch. So Tracy, your 30 seconds starts now.
Man, I applied to this federal job and I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm Tracy Harris with Hope Evolution, a veteran employment services specialist. And what I do is I help coach veterans through the federal application system. I help them modify their resume, answer the self-assessment questions, and apply it to the vacancy so they can continue the federal benefits in their retirement. Hope Evolution, and we hope you will apply. Thank you.
Awesome, Tracy. You were just about 2 seconds over, but real good. Thank you. And the next person that was selected is Toby Bradford. Toby, are you with us? Toby, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm getting ready to spotlight you, and I will let you know when you have. Can you turn your video on?
I can't. I'm not where I can turn it on.
Oh, you're not prepared to do your pitch? Okay. We had 3, so we'll get someone to take your place. Benita, are you ready to pitch? Benita? Where's Benita? Benita Robinson, are you with us?
I'm here. I didn't know if we were doing pitches.
We're doing pitches.
I
You guys
suppose
should
I
get
can
to
try.
the overview. You have 30 seconds, and I'll tell you when to go. And tell us what you do.
Okay.
I will cut you off. Normally they can hear the bell ringing, but I know you can't hear the bell ringing, so I will say time. Just so you don't feel like I'm cutting you off, I'll say time when your 30 seconds is up. Are you ready?
Sure.
Go.
I am Vanetta Robbins with Keller Williams Central 75. I am a residential real estate agent, and I specialize in the North Texas area, Collin County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, and I love working with our fellow veterans. I've actually done 2 veteran loans in the past month, and so I am really good at helping veterans get qualified for what they need. Vanetta Robbins, Keller Williams Central.
Ooh, you had 2 seconds
That
to
was really
spare.
short.
Nice job, Vanetta. Nice job. Okay, so I have to get a replacement for Toby. And I don't know all the business owners on here, but the replacement that came up for Toby is Lisa Thomas. Lisa, are you a business owner? Lisa Thomas, are you a business owner? Hello?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, Lisa, I'm gonna get you unmuted and get you on spotlight, and I'll let you know when you can tell us who you are, okay? Let me just find you here so I can get you up. Lisa, there you are. Let's get you spotlighted. Okay, ladies, you had 2 really good ones. Here's Lisa, and I'll let you know. Give me a second. Let me get you a whole 30 seconds here. And you're ready to go, Lisa.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lisa Crawford Thomas. I am the owner and creator of Pure Bellow Skincare. I manufacture skincare for sensitive skin. So if you have eczema, itching, scaling, flaking, look me up. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I have our own website, purebellowskincare.com. Look us up. I know we have a formula that can help you. Lisa Thomas.
Whoa, Lisa, you had a couple of seconds left on yours too. Nice job. So Holly and Shirley, do you want to give us some input on how they did? Holly, I'll let you go first. Or do you guys want to have a background conversation real quick?
Sure.
Holly, we can't hear you.
With me and Shirley? Ooh, hold on. That's weird. It doesn't say mute. Can you hear me now? How about now?
I can hear you. Yep.
We can hear
You can
you.
hear me? I can give feedback.
Yes.
I can give feedback. I think the first person was Shirley. I love how she opened with a question for hope, evolution, because as soon as I heard her
Tracy.
question, Tracy, it engaged me immediately because I heard the question and I listened. I was like, wait, that's kind of like a quick emotional connection. And I like how she did the bullet points. And it was very clear what she did, and she identified the need. And that's what I liked about Tracy's. And the Bonetta, I loved that she's got a niche towards female veterans or veterans in general, and how she explained that she's already helped them and she was quick. And then lastly with Lisa, what she did a good job at was the bullet points and how to find her. That's what was clear. I don't remember if the other two said how to get in touch with them, but that's what was very clear on Lisa's, the last one. Quick feedback.
Awesome. Shirley, you want to give us, and then the 2 of you are going to have to, in the background, tell us who the winner is, but you want to give us some tips and let us know how the ladies did?
Like Holly, I agree that Tracy, her opening was, it immediately captured you to want to listen to her next words. So she was able to draw you in and then really focus in on what it is that she's doing, who she's trying to help, and her reason for helping that demographic. And then Bonetta, like the fact that you're focusing on veteran, specifically veteran women, but I would suggest that you maybe start out talking more about your role as a realtor in targeting this demographic versus saying to Keller Williams. I know Keller Williams is the brand that you represent, but I was then focused on you just being another realtor, not so much that you are targeting or who your target market is. So I would just suggest that you put the focus on that piece of it a little bit more. And then with Lisa, clearly identifying the skincare areas or problem skincare areas that a lot of us experience, and being able to say that your products can help all these different ailments. And like Holly said, you share how we can get in touch with you. Overall, all you ladies did a great job. Thanks.
So in the background, you two ladies are going to get together, and before we do our words of wisdom, you will let us know who our winner is. Awesome. All right, our next presenter will be Christina Morrell. Christina is with Texas Veterans Commission, and she is going to give us an update on HUB, and she is also going to share some information about TVC's Guide to Government Contracting. So take it away, Christina.
Thanks, VR. I don't know if you can let me share my screen, but if you can't, that's okay.
I can. Let me just see how I can work that out for you.
All right, no problem. Everyone, I'm with the Veteran Entrepreneur Program of the Texas Veterans Commission. And today I just wanted to give you a quick update on the historically underutilized business program. I hope that you're already familiar with it, and I'm sure that many of you are. But I want to just make sure that you've got an update about what's been going on, especially since we've been working remotely and we're all still trying to work our way through COVID. So here, let me see if I can share my screen. If I can, I will show it.
You can now. I made you a co-host.
Oh, there you go. Hey, right on. Here you go. Can everybody see my screen? It's just one slide. Okay, cool. First of all, we're happy to announce that at the Texas Veterans Commission, we just updated 2 pages on HUB, the historically underutilized business program, on our website. So you can find 2 things that are really important. One is what bidding opportunities there are at the Texas Veterans Commission. We have about 8 different categories that we currently purchase for, okay? And you can take a look at that, and those would be listed. And if you're not familiar with the Electronic State Business Daily, the link is also on those pages, and that is for opportunities that are $25,000 or more. Those are contracting opportunities with the state of Texas, and all state agencies and the university system is required to put any of those contracting opportunities of that dollar value or more up on the ESBD, or it's called Texas Smart Buy, and you can go to the comptroller's website to get that. But you'll also find all of those links on the TVC Hub page. Secondly, we also have included all that information on the Veteran Entrepreneur Program page, which also includes all of our, many of our program partners. We have links directly to our partners, which includes VR, your center. I'm happy to announce that we've got that on our Veteran Entrepreneur page. And we also have a majority, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, maybe a few more downloadable resources, one of which is our government contracting guide. It's a 10-page guide that includes information on local, state, federal, VA, and how to engage with them, their process for getting engaged in government contracting. It also includes sample capability statements, and also some information on how to create a capability statement, which I think is really helpful. It's all the links in it are live, so you don't have to be fooling around trying to find things on the internet. It's all there for you. So I encourage you to go to our website and download the government contracting guide. With that said, the comptroller has also been very busy this summer or this spring as we've been going through COVID. And Maya Ingram is the new director of the Hub State program, and she has started Hub Talks. And those are being conducted on a monthly basis. And there's 2 more that are scheduled. And I've got that on the slide in front of you. One is next week on May 27th, and the other one is on June 10th. And in conjunction with the Directorate of Information Resources, Maya will go through either high-level overview and also go into detail answering questions from vendors right online. So I highly suggest that you attend as a way to get a refresher on the historically underutilized business program if you haven't been part of it or you haven't looked at it lately. Also, I want to make you aware of, in July, they are still planning on having the Hub statewide spot bid fair. Now, this is a big deal, and I confirmed with the comptroller just this morning that they are still planning at this time to probably have it face-to-face. Now, of course, that could change because they have to get permissions from the municipality as well as the Supplier Diversity Council access. So once that's confirmed, they will have it. It's always held at the Irving Convention Center. The agenda is already up on the website. I've included the link there, but you can just go to the comptroller's website, plug in spot bid fair, and it will pop up or direct you where to go. The reason that this is good, is a really good opportunity, is because if you have the chance to talk directly with the state agencies that attend, and what the state agencies are doing are preparing all the bid opportunities probably the week before. They'll be posted on their website, and then you go face to face with the government, the state agency, and you actually provide the bid. So it gives you a chance to review the bid, and then if you can provide a response, this is the place you do it. You actually meet with them face to face, and then they tell you whether or not that you won that bid for that piece of business on the 21st or shortly thereafter. So it's a really good opportunity for both the state agencies, the university, and all Hub certified vendors. So I highly encourage your participation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or you can go to the comptroller's website or reach out to Delia, who's the marketing specialist for the Hub program. So I don't want to run over my time, VR, but there's a lot of information there, but if anyone has any questions, reach out to me.
I would say if you have any questions, put them in the chat room, direct them to, well, actually you have 3 minutes left, Christina. So if there are any questions, cool. If you bring them to the chat room, we can answer them from there because Christina has 3 minutes left on her time.
Okay.
So if anyone has a question, you can enter it in the chat room, either directly to Christina or in the open chat.
And one more thing I wanted to say, even if you're not Hub certified, you should be familiar with the centralized master bidder list. It costs $70 a year to be on the list, but if you create a profile, you can have these bidding opportunities sent directly to your email box based on the NIGP code that you set up when you create your profile with the state. To me, it's a really good opportunity to do that because it's coming directly to you. Again, you don't have to go up to the ESBD every day to look for it because they're going to proactively send you the bidding opportunities to your mailbox. So I think that's a good use of $70 to save you all of that research and time. And if you can identify your business by the NIGP code, and there's a commodity book up there on the comptroller site, you can get these solicitations sent to you.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Christina, if you're you have 2 more minutes left if people want questions, but unshare your screen if you want to, and just come back on with us. Okay.
Here we go. Sorry.
And if members are interested, we can get Christina scheduled for one of our Trending Thursday tips so she could spend an entire 45 minutes to an hour really going through that government contracting guide, or we could focus in on writing your feasibility statement. So whichever one of those you all feel would be most beneficial. If you think that would be beneficial, please share that in the chat room and we will get that taken care of for you. If you do find out you have more questions for Christina, you can send her an email through chat privately or making an open statement so we all can benefit from it. Thank you again, Christina, for that update. Texas Veterans Commission Entrepreneur Program is one of our partners. We believe in collaboration, and we are really thrilled to have you guys as a part of our team. The next individual.
Thanks very much for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for joining. The next individual that will be speaking is Stephanie, will be speaking for Dallas Independent School District. Stephanie, I'm going to bring you up on Spotlight. And do I need to make you a host? Do you need to share anything?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. I'll go in and take care of that.
All right, thank you. And while you're doing that, I just want to introduce myself to everyone. Good, is it morning or afternoon still? Good morning. Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. I'm Stephanie Broughton. I'm one of the MWBE coordinators for Dallas Independent School District. And I'm going to use the next few minutes to briefly and quickly go over the Minority Women Business Enterprise forms that are used for all of the RFPs within Dallas Independent School District. So I just want to go over the forms with everyone very quickly so that you guys can understand more about the forms and answer any questions that you may have. The Dallas Independent School District forms are an essential part of the procurement process, and they are part of every RFP that the district puts out. We are currently in the process of changing the forms. So I will be having another webinar specifically on the changes that are taking place with the MWBE forms. The site that I'm on right now is Dallas Independent School District Supplier Opportunity website. This is where you can find opportunities that are available within Dallas ISD. Dallas ISD has two different websites for opportunities. We have the supplier website, which is this particular website, and we also have the bond opportunity website, which is more for construction. The last time I did a webinar, we talked about the new electronic bidding process with Dallas Independent School District, but I won't necessarily go over that today. Today, we're going to talk about the MWBE forms as quickly as possible. What I'm going to do, since I don't have that much time with this particular webinar, is just hit on some very important portions of the MWBE forms and where you can find them. As I indicated, the forms are a part of each RFP. So no matter what RFP you're going to bid for, you will find the MWBE forms there. If you don't find them there, they'll probably be in the addendum. And a tip that I want to let you guys know is that if you want to find a fillable MWBE form, you would just go to the MWBE website, and then you'll see where, let me see if we can click on here really quickly. You can go to on the side where there's forms, documents and forms, and you can find them there. So actually, let's go ahead and do that since we're over here, just to make it quicker. And there's this form, and then there's also a fillable form. So there's just general information. Like I said, I want to highlight some of the most important portions of creating the forms. There used to be a clause where if you did not complete the MWBE forms, your RFP would be thrown out. That is no longer the case. Even if you don't submit the MWBE forms, your RFP will still be evaluated. The part of the problem with that, though, is the MWBE forms is worth 20 points. Dallas ISD evaluates on a point system, 100 points, and out of the 100 points, the MWBE documents is a value of up to 20 points. And so you would just have to complete the forms, and depending on the responses that you provide and the information that you provide would determine how much of the 20 points you receive. So although it's not that if you don't submit the forms, you're no longer evaluated, since that is not a caveat now, you still can be evaluated even if you don't submit the forms. But if you don't submit the forms, you're putting 20 points, you're leaving 20 points on the table. You don't want to do that. Remember, this is a competitive environment. And so the more points you can get, that'll help you even better. And so let's see, let's go. And one of the other things that I want to talk about, especially for women and minority-owned business owners, that gets confused specifically with the MWBE forms. A lot of them feel like they don't have to complete the forms, either because they are a woman-owned business owner or because they're a minority-owned business. And that's not true. You still would have to complete the form, irregardless if you're a woman or a minority business owner. And it doesn't even matter if you're certified or not certified, you still would complete the form. So that's a big confusion that a lot of business owners have when it comes to completing the MWBE forms. And really, that's across the board. That's most diversity programs. Now, specifically today, we're talking about Dallas Independent School District forms. And just what I like to tell vendors is just consider each of these questions as some type of point value. And another thing that I want to highlight, just because of the limited time that I have today, is that when it comes to your minority certified subcontractor utilization, even if you yourself are a certified minority woman or minority business owner, we are still asking for you to retain certified minority and women-owned subcontractors. That is also point value, okay? So, but the subcontractor has to be certified in order for you to receive points for utilizing them on your project. And this gets very confusing, especially for new vendors. Now, the people who've been submitting proposals for a while, they understand this, and they understand that that can make all the difference between you winning a contract and someone else winning a contract. And I had one business owner who attended one of my workshops, and she didn't realize that, and she was actually bidding for a whole different entity. And she utilized that information that I provided, and she was able to retain a contract as a result of that. You have to remember, especially if the entity is based on points, you have to get as many points as you possibly can and figure out ways to do that. And so I think that I'm going to end that here and take any questions that you may have about the forms. I know that I went through the forms very quickly, but I just wanted to highlight those important points that I see when we do evaluations that could create problems. And I also want to point out, whenever you're asked on a form, if you're going to utilize subcontractors, please, even if you say no, just don't say we don't use subcontractors, or just, I just ask that you not say that, because it just, because you can always find ways to use subcontractors. And the other thing that I see a lot is, well, we're already a minority or woman-owned business, so we don't need to utilize subcontractors. The whole point of these types of programs, these diversity programs, is to help other minority and women-owned businesses, not just help you individually, but bring other people with you, bring other people along for the ride. So that's kind of the point of a lot of these programs, is to motivate and help a lot of minority and women-owned businesses. And with that, I'll take any questions that you may have for the time that I have. Thank you so much. And I hope that I can be of assistance to you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing VR so that we can go ahead and answer some questions and see if you guys have any questions for me, or if I can be of any further assistance.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie, for that overview. And you can send your question privately to Stephanie, or once again, you can put them openly in the chat room. Stephanie has another 2 minutes on her time, so we do have a couple of minutes to answer any questions.
Wow, I have 2 minutes. Yay. All right.
I just want to say, for those of you, a lot of our members are B2C, so you sell out your products to customers. I do want to encourage you to diversify your revenue streams and look at opportunities for contracting, and also look at opportunities to do business with other business owners. So I typed it in the chat room, but I'm going to say it out loud. If you have not listed your business, even on my 3 30-second pitch individuals. Please list your business, how people can reach you, so that we can support each other and do business with each other. That's how you're gonna grow. And even if we can't do business with you, maybe we can make a referral. So you don't want to leave any money on the table. And we don't know what you do, and we don't know what you need unless you share it. So please tell us what you do. Maybe you're a big wig and you're looking for some subcontractors, maybe a little smaller and you're looking to do some subcontracting. Let us know so we can try and get you connected.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to subcontract. Like, don't be afraid of that. Sometimes that's how some of these big companies got big. You know, you got to start from somewhere. You got to remember, even the big companies, they weren't always big. You got to start from somewhere. And like VR was just saying, depending on your company structure, if you're B2B or B2C, most of the companies or entities, whether it's Dallas Independent School District, you got your ISDs, your municipalities, your state businesses, those types of entities, you have to kind of have a business structure of B2B. So even if you have a B2C structure, you can transition over to a B2B for the sake of getting a contract to keep your business afloat. So just keep those things in mind. And again, don't be afraid to subcontract. For some reason, business owners see subcontracting as, beneath their skill set. And that's not the case. Sometimes you have to change your mindset in order to grow your business. So take those things into consideration as you move forward to grow your business and as you expand and try to see other ways to make money, essentially. So thank you guys again for your time. I appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, even though my time is up.
Again, you can send a text to Stephanie privately, or you can share it in the chat room. We're going to keep our program moving, and our next person up is Tracy. Tracy is with Texas Women's University Center for Women Entrepreneurs. Oh, I like how you have that behind you, Tracy. But you look like you're on a green screen. I don't know if everybody else sees you that way, but anyway, it looks good. I like the logo behind you. And Tracy's going to be giving us some do's and don'ts on grant applications. TWU had a great grant going on for COVID-19. And so Tracy has a lot of experience. I heard you guys had over 3,000 applicants. So you kind of know what works and what doesn't work. So tell us, for those of us that are going to be looking at additional grants and opportunities as we work through COVID-19, what should we be doing?
Okay, I'm happy to share. I do have a one-page page, if you will allow me sharing. Otherwise,
yeah, let me make you a co-host.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. And thank you so much for turning this, making this online as well. While I don't miss the traffic on the way over, I love taking part in this, and we've got some great information to share today. So can you see this screen?
We can.
Okay, perfect. We actually had over 5,000 people apply for this grant. Woo. So it was, we got a phenomenal response in a time that was really very difficult to handle this because we were all working remotely. So there was no one to help assist each of us in different parts of it, especially just handling the number of emails, questions, everything that was coming in about this grant. But we were so happy to get through it. We have announced our 100 winners, and they are on our website. But we realize that there are a lot of people that really don't understand about grants, and that's understandable because there isn't always a lot of opportunity for small businesses. Grants have often been more available to nonprofits. So we learned some things and love to share it with you. So we're going to do, hate to say the good and bad, but the best practices for grant writing. So one of the most important things that anybody can do is read and then reread the grant applications, the guidelines, and frequently asked questions. Everything is there for a reason and spelled out specifically what the person, the company, what they are looking for. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that applied were disqualified because they did not read the rules, the guidelines, etc. There was a page limit. There was a way we wanted them sent in. Because of our grant funding, certain types of, we couldn't fund payroll and some other things. And that was the number one thing that people had put in there. And we see, again, when you get 5,000 applications, it's really hard when you're going through and you see so many that did not actually follow all of the guidelines. So everyone, please take the time to read that. I understand that some newspapers had actually posted just a link to our application. And so there, people may not have known there were other guidelines. But it's very important because this grant matters to you and your business, and there's not really the opportunity to go in again and keep and resubmit, or you may not even realize that you missed everything. So always go to the website where the grant is coming from to see if there's additional information that needs to go in there. You also want to ensure that you qualify and have all the required documentation that is going to be required. There were certain timeframes we wanted you to be in business. This was for a business that had already been started. So again, if you hadn't started your business yet, or if there are requirements on a grant that you don't fit, there's really no point in sending your application in. You don't want to waste your own time going through here, and you want to make sure that you send in a good grant application. You want to clarify anything that you are unsure about with the grantor. And you want to do this before you submit the application. So we had several people. Well, I was the point person, so I did get a lot of questions, but I'm glad that people were doing that. It also helped when we had the same question over and over. It helped us even clarify online. So if others had the same question, that answer was there as well. But feel free to reach out and ask any questions about anything that you are unsure of. And again, ask these questions before you submit your application, because I got several and someone said, I just submitted my application. I have this question. This is where you want to ask the question before, because we cannot accept resubmissions, and a lot of grants are that way. So you want to make sure before you submit anything that you have all the questions answered, you feel the application's accurate, reread and reread again before you submit. It's not something you want to do because you can't take it once it's submitted. You want to start the application process early and don't fill it out in a rush. Again, you want to make sure you read each of those questions clearly and that you are able to answer them thoroughly. The hardest part for some people is the budget. So you want to put the details in the budget that were requested. So you want to look back. So in ours, it's like, what are you going to use the funds for? You don't want just the overall general answer of operating expenses, because many things make up operating expenses. We were not able to fund payroll. So if someone didn't clarify, then we weren't really sure what your budget was and what the monies were going to be used for. So again, this is where you want to be very careful and make sure you pay attention to all the details that are written out. Then you want to make sure you proofread it yourself. Look over, is everything accurate? Did it answer the questions? So anyway, that's not from me. So anyway, you just want to proofread. And then if you can, have someone else look it over, because sometimes we understand our business so well, but somebody else could look at it and say, hey, I don't understand this, or what did you mean by this? And that gives you feedback before you actually submit your application. Then when you are submitting your application, please make sure that you follow the instructions on how the application is supposed to be submitted. We have been working virtually. So we did request that this come through email in one PDF, all of the documents included in one PDF. We got 10 different attachments. I mean, we got 20 attachments. I mean, we had some that went over the required number. People didn't put them together. It's very difficult sometimes, especially when you're getting 5,000 applications, if you have to download everything that is there. If it says to email it to a certain person, email it to that person. Do not put it in a Google Doc or something else where somebody needs a password to get in to open your files. That is not what is typically asked for. So it makes it more difficult in this process if people can't go in, find the application that you had filed. So always make sure that you do that. Most everything now is set up electronically where you'll get an automatic reply. So check that before. If you don't get one, it's best to check your spam folder. We have found that many people have spam filters on and they don't get emails from us. And so even after we announced the winners and then sent out the other letters as well, many of those didn't go through, and we still have people contacting us that they can't reach. So again, check your spam filters always when you do something, and then follow up. But check that first to make sure that they did receive your grant. And after you've checked all those and they haven't seen it, then it's okay to contact them. Again, watch your emails. We have found that a very large number of people submitted from a different email than they ordinarily use. We even had a grant winner who didn't know for about 3 or 4 days because it was somebody else that submitted it for them. So make sure when you do this, you put an email address on there that is one that people can reach you at right away if need be. And then follow up. The follow up is really, really important. We were so busy with this grant as we went through, and it was a rolling grant. So it meant once the money was gone, it was gone. Excuse me. So we sent letters out, but it is best too if you can. We did ask that. Unfortunately, due to the sheer number of these, we could not reply to everybody why their application wasn't accepted. But please be mindful when you do this. We did get some letters from people, again, that were angry, and we understand that. But remember that there could be other opportunities in the future. So there's no reason, you don't want to burn bridges with these people either. So, I mean, if you want, you can thank them. You can ask if they say questions are okay, it's okay to ask them. But just remember, it's been a lot of work on people doing this, and it has nothing against you personally. That we don't know who these people were, and again, they went through so many applications, but always be thankful and respectful to those that did offer an opportunity. This information is so important because right now there's so many different grant ideas, applications out there. Denton County did one. Many of the other counties now and cities are offering these. So make sure as you go through that you take these tips and use those before you put a grant application in or before you submit it. This was such an important issue to us that our next Women Rise, and I have the link on here, we're going to have an hour talking with a professional grant writer. And again, this doesn't just apply to grants, it applies to other funding you may be looking or other applications that you are funding. on how to best fill out these. So if anyone, again, everybody's invited if interested next week to our June, or next month to our June Women Rise, where we'll go even more depth about grant writing. Thank you, VR. That's all I have on this subject.
That is awesome, Tracy. Thank you so much for that overview. I know grant writing can be a little overbearing and sometimes extremely confusing if it's not something you do all the time. So we really appreciate you giving us those do's and don'ts. If anyone has any questions for Tracy, you can definitely text her in the chat directly. We're getting a little behind, so we want to make sure we catch up so we have time for our words of wisdom. And I do want to bring back our coaches from our 30-second pitch to let us know who our winner is. And Shirley, I'm going to let you announce the winner. So tell us who won our pitch and maybe tell us why you selected that individual.
We agreed that Ms. Tracy Harris of Hope Evolution won, again, how she opened with the question. And we think that her service was clearly defined and her target market was clearly defined. And we think that she was the best choice today. Not that the other two were not good, but she was our winner.
Congratulations,
Thank
Tracy. You will be getting an email from us with your $60 gift card. Use it wisely. Thank you so much for sharing. Every month we do this, and we do this because our theme this year is building. And we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to help you build not only your professional, but your personal confidence. And we want to do that by making sure that we, keep you guys connected and that you're able to build B2B sales as well as to build B2B referrals. So that's why I want to remind you again, if you're on here and you own a business, including our partners, please let us know what you do and how people can get connected, because we want to do business together. That is so important that we support each other. And I don't think we do that enough, and we don't talk about it enough. So before we bring on our words of wisdom speaker, I want to remind you guys, what is June 12th? What is June 12th? Anybody?
Women's Veterans Day.
Woo! Thank you. Women's Veterans Day in the state of Texas is June 12th, and we are not going to let our day go by without celebrating. So we will be having a virtual celebration on Zoom, Facebook Live, and we have three main components that we're going to be bringing to the table. So we are going to have a women veteran-owned business pitch competition. Ladies, it's open to everybody, whether you just have a concept or you've got a multi-million-dollar business. We want to highlight what women veteran-owned businesses are doing in the state of Texas. Now, of course, we focus on our area, DFW, but everybody can get in the game. So we want you to share that information, which would be officially coming out today or no later than the end of this week. There will be a pre-session for those who are interested in pitching. You'll need to make that pre-session, and that date will be on the registration page. And then on June 12th, you will be pitching live in our Zoom room to our judges. And we have some spectacular judges, state, federal level, VA, that will be looking at what you're doing and letting you know whether you're doing a great job. And what are you going to walk away with? Well, number one, you're going to have bragging rights for your branch. So whatever branch you represent, you already picked up bragging rights. You're also going to have bragging rights for your city, whatever city you're representing. So Dallas, I expect you to come hard and strong, okay? And we have one of our sponsors that's going to be putting up some money. But I don't want the focus to be money. I'm just saying that because we really want this to be about us being excited about who we are, what we're doing, how we're impacting our communities, and how we're driving our economy. And we are doing amazing work, and people need to know it. So I invite each and every one of you, start getting your pitch deck together. We're going to tell you exactly what you need to put on it and get in this game, because this is going to be exciting. And next year, we hope to open it up even wider to all of Texas, with Texas Veterans Commission and the rest of our programs getting on board so that we can really highlight what we're doing. So I hope you guys are as excited as we are. We will also have a women's veteran resource room And they have 4 panels set up for you guys during the day to talk about different resources. And we're going to be featuring some of our female veteran authors. And I know you guys know that our female veterans out there, they're writing, they have something to say. What they have to say is important. So they're going to be sharing with you their story, their journey. Hopefully you love what they're telling you. You purchase a book, or at least you stay connected to see what they're doing. We have some exciting things going on. And then we're going to have a couple of surprises. And because they're surprises, I'm not going to share anymore. But there will be a couple of surprises online for you. So make sure you mark Friday, June 12th from 10 to 1. We're going to be on Zoom and we're going to be Facebook Live. And you definitely want to be there as a female veteran and you want to spread the word so we can have 1,000 female veterans online all getting together. The theme this year is connect, collaborate, and celebrate. So I want everybody to do that. Let's get connected. Let's figure out how we can collaborate, and let's celebrate women who are and who have served in our military. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are excited too. So I'm also just as excited to bring on our next guest, which is our Words of Wisdom speaker. Holly is a partner with us. She is a female empowerment speaker. She's awesome. She's out there doing a million different things. And we're excited for her to talk to us about from fear to freedom, because there's a lot of fear that's out there right now with COVID-19. A lot of people are walking in fear, they're living in fear, and we can't work that way. We can't function that way. Now is the time to break free. Now is the time, like I said on that post, you need to dig deep and we need to get ready to come back even stronger. We are not interested in surviving COVID-19, Holly. We want to thrive. And we want you to share with us what are going to be those tips for breaking free from fear and getting that freedom. So I give you Miss Holly Caplan.
Hello, ladies. Before I get started, please let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear
might want to turn up just a little bit.
Okay, hold on, let me see. Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to give you guys this presentation today. I wrote it a couple of months back. And it's based on my struggle with fear. And it's my first time to give it virtually. So I promise I will do my best to infuse as much personality as I would in person. I promise. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Do I have you set up for that? Let me just make sure I have you set up to share your screen, Holly. I apologize. Get you up here as a co-host. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Co-host. There you go.
Let me try it now. Share screen. There it is. Okay. I'm thankful that I know a lot of you guys on this call today, but for those of you whom I've not met yet, my name is Holly Caplan, and I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, which I'm very proud of. I live in Dallas, Texas now, and I was in corporate America for 25 years. And in the past couple of years, I launched myself into entrepreneurship, and now I'm a confidence coach for women who want to become entrepreneurs. Hold on. Let's see, there we go, move my slide. Okay, here's a little bit of my story. I was married with a daughter who's now 9 years old. I was very career driven. As I mentioned, I was in corporate America for a long time. I worked in the medical device industry. And as you can see by that photo, I was the only female in the group. That was not unusual. I was surrounded by all these guys. And there were a lot of wonderful people there, but it was, I'll get into that part of the story, but that was kind of my background. Well, unfortunately, what came with these two things was fear. And before I get into my slides, I want to tell you a story. And it's going to be a little personal, but I'm going to share it anyway. About 8 years ago, it was a Sunday night, and I was fast asleep. I was sleeping next to my husband. My 2-year-old daughter was down the hallway, tucked in her bed. My fat pug was sitting on the foot of the bed, snorting and snoring away like pugs do. Everything was quiet, everything was calm. Suddenly, I'm awakened by a sharp pain in my chest, like someone had taken a knife and just shoved it through my heart. I felt like someone was squeezing my chest and I couldn't breathe. I sat up in the dark, and I thought I should call 911. I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm too young, but I think I'm having a heart attack. Well, I sat and I waited a couple of minutes in the dark for this to pass. I got my breath back. The pain subsided. I didn't wake up my husband. I didn't call 911 because I realized I'd had a panic attack in my sleep. My body was trying to tell me something that I would not want to think about. So in the middle of the night, in that vulnerable state of sleep, my body woke me up. And I realized why, because I had been living in fear. I had been living in fear for years. And looking back, I call it my fear trifecta. Here's my fear trifecta. Here were the three things that were impacting me and waking me up in the middle of the night. The first was my marriage. I had been married for, I don't know how many years at that time, maybe 8, 9 years at that time. And I'll tell you guys, my marriage was on its last leg. I'll also tell you it was a verbally and emotionally abusive relationship. And I had wanted to get out for a long time. And when I talked about it with friends and family, they would say, no, don't get out. You made a commitment. Or don't get out. You have a little girl. You have to make this work. So I listened to everyone and I thought, okay, then I'll just continue like this. I'll continue in this state of fear, walk on eggshells around my then husband and live like this. The second part of the trifecta was my career. As I mentioned earlier, I had been in corporate America for a long time, had a really good run, had a lot of good years with it. Well, you know, as companies do, someone bought us out. When they bought us out, the culture changed. It was a fear-driven environment. So they motivated us, the employees, by fear. And they wanted us to do the same with our employees because I had a sales team under me. So they used fear on me, taught me to use it on them. And it was just a bad cascade. It was just bad. I tried it for a couple of years and it started to impact me. I'm like, I don't like being managed this way. I don't like managing people in the same manner. So I had that going on. And then there was change. Then there was the fear of change. I'm like, I got to get out of this relationship, marriage. I've got to get out of my job, but I don't know how. And ironically, being uncomfortable became comfortable. You guys know what I mean? Hopefully you don't know what I mean, but living in fear became the norm. And I expected to feel panicky and have anxiety constantly. So what does that do for you? It paralyzes you like that cat. I felt paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. So strangely, thankfully, that panic attack I had in the middle of the night shook me out of being paralyzed. It made me realize that if my body was trying to tell me something, then I needed to address it. So what I did is I made a list of my fears because I was like, well, hell, I don't know how to figure this out. Okay. And I need to put it into words so I can understand it. So here is my list from 2012, like the day after the panic attack. My list was the fear of doing something different, whether it was job or marriage related, right? Doing something different. The fear of starting something, but not finishing it. Like I knew I wanted to start my business, but what if I told a lot of people and then I never finished it? That would be embarrassing. What if I wasn't good at it? So I had the fear of not being good at it. I had the fear of money. Like if you leave a marriage or a job, what if you lose your money? What if you're not making what you want to make? And then lastly, it was the fear of what other people think. What would my parents think? What would my friends think? I made all these changes. So then I had to challenge myself and think about what happens if you don't address your fears. So according to Psychology Today in 2017, not too long ago, this is what happens if you don't address your fears. You won't get the change that you need in your life. Remember that fear trifecta? I had change up there. that wasn't going to change anything. The more scared you are, the scarier things will seem. Like that cat who was scared and paralyzed, this girl right here, that was me. Being continuously in fear mode can lead to hopelessness and depression. That was me too, because I felt hopeless. I just didn't know it because I had lived in it for so long and I was used to functioning that way. So after a panic attack, I'm like, I either make change or these things continue to happen. But you know what? When you address your fear, you will be free to fly. So here are my 6 tips to help you guys go from fear to freedom. The first thing about fear, like I mentioned, I lived in it for so long, it was just a part of my fabric, is learn to recognize it. A lot of us don't recognize it. You just get used to living that way. So the first thing is pay attention to your physical reactions, because we're mammals, right? We feel fight or flight. So it's built into us to feel the fear. So if you're feeling it, there's something going on. There's something wrong. Do not ignore it. If you ignore it, you'll have a panic attack in the middle of the night. You don't want that. Some ways you can know if you're having fear is sweating, dizziness, heart rate. I don't know about you guys, but I feel vertigo. Like I get real dizzy if I start to get panicky or anxiety or fear hits me, which is a perfect segue to the next part is anxiety, because anxiety and fear go hand in hand, right? The more fear you have, the more you worry about it, the more you worry about the bad things that are going to happen. And it creates a negative cycle of thinking. And I bet you guys know people like that. You probably have friends like that. You're like, what's the deal with that? Why does he or she have so much anxiety? Well, it's fear. The third way to recognize your fear is if you feel paralyzed. If you feel like you can't make decisions, if you feel like Shirley sends me a text and says, Holly, you want to go for coffee? And I don't have the energy to text her back, and you feel like you can't move, that's how you know you're experiencing fear. If you don't feel like yourself, that's how you know. Second part of this is when you feel it, learn to dissect it. Don't dwell in it and let it take over. Dissect it. Here are the top most common sources of fear. And this is good for COVID right now because we're all experiencing this, okay? So if you're having fear from COVID, job loss, whatever it is, look at these things and consider them for yourself. The first one is the fear of change. We're all experiencing change. It causes uncertainty. People have been laid off. They've been let go. They've lost their companies, period. It causes uncertainty. Secondly, fear of the unknown. People are afraid of what's coming. What's coming? I mean, even with the pandemic, is it going to hit hard again in November? We don't know. It's unknown. Fear of loss. What are we going to lose? Are we going to lose money, jobs, family? All of it. And then lastly, fear of failure. That's another big fear. If you're thinking about doing something different, going to business in yourself, changing your location, whatever it is, you can't mess up if you don't try. And having a fear of failure is safe for your ego, okay? Because then you don't feel like you failed if you haven't tried it, but it's not good for your personal growth because we all have to fail. We all have to fail to keep moving. Believe me, I fail all the time. I fail every day. It's just, I'm just used to it. Okay, number 3. Here is what you need to do when you address it. Talk about it. And I say that because in growing up, we were not supposed to talk about our fears. It still makes my elders uncomfortable when I talk about what scares me. So you need to have a support system of like-minded individuals that you can rely on who care about you unconditionally. Okay, to talk about your fears with them. And you have to do that because it will bring you back to your authentic self because you're expressing something that you're feeling and you're not hiding it. And those people will help you work through it. I have a support system myself. They help me through getting out of my marriage, getting out of the corporate America role and starting my own business. And I still talk to those people every day. Another way to address it is acknowledge the outcome. Instead of thinking about all the horrible things that could happen, think about what would happen if it did work in your favor? Like if you wanted to open your own financial consulting firm, or you wanted to go into real estate, think about the positive outcomes that could occur instead of sitting in your fear. Play it out in your mind. Lastly, if fear comes, don't deny it, lean into it. Because if you lean away from it, it's just going to chase you. It's not going to go away. It's going to come back and bite you in the butt. So if you have fear, lean into it, write down your list and welcome it and figure out what you need to do differently. Okay, I have another short, funny story for you guys. I want you to visualize your freedom. Visualize what it would be like to be free from your fear. 20-something years ago, my first job out of college, I sold long distance, business to business. And for those of you ladies out there who are old enough like me to know those days, do you remember like AT&T and MCI and all those companies that were selling long distance in the early 90s? That was me. I did it door to door. I cold called. I got thrown out of buildings when I was like 23 years old. I was living in Houston, Texas. I thought it was the best job ever. Thought it was the best job. Every Monday morning, we would have our sales meeting in our office, and we would talk about our annual sales contest that was actually worldwide. And if you won the contest, you got to go to Hawaii or Spain or France, whatever it was that year. So my boss used to make us practice winning every Monday morning. So we would stand there in our office and cheer our heads off and scream and yell like we had just won the biggest prize ever. And I felt ridiculous, but you know what? It taught me to feel what winning was like. And guess what? We won that year. And then we won again. Because once I had that feeling of freedom and feeling of winning, my fear went away. Because that's all I could stay focused on. So visualize what it would look like. If you're going to open a yoga studio or open up your coaching business, whatever it may be, picture yourself there. Picture where your office would be. Visualize yourself there, because you will create those positive feelings that you will need to have carry you through the rest of your career. Visualize it. I'm big in manifestation, you guys too. I'm big on that. That's a whole other conversation. So I feel like when you visualize it, you're actually manifesting it. Okay. I kind of went over this. Imagine how it would feel if it was a reality. What if being a business owner was your reality? What would you feel like today? Whenever I think about that, my endorphins go up, right? And I feel really positive, and I feel like I just want to keep going. And then lastly on this, sorry, hold on. Focus on the positives that would come from it. If you leave your job at XYZ company and you break away and start your own thing, what positives are going to come from it? You're going to have your freedom as an entrepreneur. You can make your own money. You can be your own boss. You can be as creative as you want to. So think about all the good things will come from it instead of sitting back in your fear. All right. This is your spiritual side. I don't mean to go all woo-woo on you guys. I hear that's what they call it now, but these are 3 things that I do to overcome my fear on a daily basis. So roll with me on this. I don't know if you guys meditate. I didn't meditate until about 3 years ago. And if you don't meditate, when you start to do it, it will feel like a new exercise. And you'll be like, this feels weird. It feels awkward to like try to keep my mind clear and listen to classical music and think about things from a different perspective, from peace and from positivity. But trust me, if you just try 5 minutes a day, you will find that you are more centered, you will be less anxious, and you will have less fear. Just try it 5 minutes a day. I do it in the morning. That's when my mind is clear, you know, before all the events of the day start to like wear on me. Meditate first thing in the morning. Think about what you want. Think about what you want your day to be like. Secondly is mantras. And since I confidence coach women, I realize everyone's issues with confidence. So I try to preach it and teach it. You can use mantras like, I believe in my abilities. I told myself that a lot when I left corporate America, to know that I could do it alone. I radiate light and confidence. Use these things. Tell yourself these things, because guess what? The more you tell yourself these things, you're going to believe them. The other day I was having a bad day. You know what I said? I kick ass. I told myself that. And I believed it. I was like, maybe I do kick ass. But whatever it is, tell yourself that, because then you become it and you own it. The last part of this slide is get still. Get still. If you feel that fear or that anxiety coming on, get still. Turn off your TV. Don't check your social media. Put your phone on silent. Just let everything roll past you and just get still and get centered again. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right, I promise.
Okay, thank you for that. Are you open for questions, Holly?
I am.
Or comments?
PR, do you want to wait, or do you want me to I've got about maybe 6 minutes left. Do you want me to wait or keep going?
No, go ahead. Let's go right on into it.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys hang in with me? Because I have a quick video at the end too, which I really think is cool. And then I'll take question if that's okay. Okay. Last part of this is set yourself free. When you are addressing your fears, take baby steps and be gentle with yourself, because you're not going to address your fears in all in one day. I didn't get out of my marriage in one day. And look, I'm not encouraging anyone to get out of marriage. It was a bad situation. Okay. But it took time. It took me going through a process, writing it down, getting my support system. It was the same thing with my job. Just take baby steps, because if you're kind to yourself and you allow yourself that space, you will get to your goal in a peaceful manner. Secondly, know this is repeatable. You can go back. You can make your list again. You can identify if you're feeling fear, if you have that increase in your heart rate, or if you feel paralyzed. Know that you can go back and do these steps again. And the last part of this, ladies, is I encourage you to make yourselves vulnerable. I did not want to make myself vulnerable. I think that's why I lived in the fear for so long. I was like conditioned and trained to just go down one path and just live like that. Don't worry about what other people think. If you were feeling fear, then be your authentic self, lean into it, address it. And you know what? When you do and you talk about it, your friends will appreciate it, because they'll start to talk to you about it, because they will probably need your support as well. So don't be afraid to make yourself vulnerable, because at the end, you'll be healthier because of it. This is a video that I love. It makes me emotional every time I see it. It's with Will Smith, and I hope you guys can see it. It's just like a 3-minute clip, and it's Will Smith on fear.
I can't see the video, Holly.
Yeah, we hear it, but we can't see it.
Can you guys see it? No one can see it?
We
No.
can just hear it.
No? Okay. Can you hear it?
You may have to switch your share on your screen.
Hold on, let me pause it. Sharing is paused. Bring your shared window to the front. How do you do that?
All right, someone that knows Zoom better than me?
There it is. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let's try this. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
All
it.
right, let me rewind. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear it. Thank you for telling me. Okay, let's try it again. Are we good?
We can
Thumbs
hear
up?
and see now. Yes.
Okay.
Skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. I gotta stand up. You go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah. And you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah. And you go home by yourself, you're like, Right? You're like, well, yeah, I mean, they was drunk too. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, and you're you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane, and you can't figure out why you would do that. So you get there, and then you have this safety brief, and you're standing there, and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is you're doing, well, why the hell, what could happen? So you get onto the airplane, and you're sitting there, and you know, it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? So you fly, and you go up to 14,000 feet, and somebody opens the door. And in that moment, you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Terror, terror. And then people start going out of the airplane. And the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing, and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. They say, on 3. 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3. And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. There's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. The lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. That was my experience with skydiving and fear.
All right.
All right.
So practically speaking.
But I didn't like that take. I'm going to do it again. Back to the top. I can sell that better. I can sell it better.
Okay, I don't know how to make this stop now.
Okay, we can't do it out loud where you can see it, but I found over here in Louis Actions. Let's give you an applause. Thank you so much, Holly, for an amazing presentation. And now, yeah, let's open it up to questions.
The only one of its kind proven to help you live significantly longer.
Hold on.
Anybody have any questions? You can put them in chat. And the group is getting smaller. So if you need me to unmute you and you can ask the question, that's fine too. I don't have a problem.
Metastatic breast cancer, whose disease has progressed after hormonal treatment. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection.
Nobody? Boy, you guys are a quiet group today. What's going on?
Can you hear me, Holly?
Yes.
You can? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Thank you. My question to you is, since you do meditation, are you familiar with tapping?
Yes, I am. How did you know about tapping? I just started learning about that.
Perfect. I started doing tapping about a year ago. And no, probably less than a year ago, probably about 8 months ago. And it has been a life changer for me. Because number one, my pain level went from a level 8 to a 0.
Wow.
And my fear level has gone down as well. I still get fear, I still get anxiety, but the pressure of confronting it and never losing sight of my purpose is what's really helped, because we should never lose sight of our purpose.
Right, exactly.
No matter what happens, no matter what happens in our life, successes or otherwise, our purpose is our world. That's why we were brought here in this world. And anything else that happens, like fear or anxiety, are diversions created to test you, to see if you're really focused on your purpose.
You know what it was? It was my
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect
Yes.
sense. And I know that the skill does work. It does work. I just did a tutorial on it. So I'm glad that you shared that with everybody.
Yep. And if you do tapping, I would recommend going to
birthday, and you know, she was in this like, you know, real fit of just emotion, and she realized, oh man.
Can you hear me?
No,
Going to
it
Nick
cut out for a second,
Ortner.
but you're back.
Yeah, does someone have a TV or something on? We're getting a lot of background.
I'm gonna hop off. I think it's me. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna hop back on.
Okay.
For real, because you don't have to do that. You know?
Go ahead.
Hold on.
I was like, I want you
I'll
to
get
go
out. I can't.
skydiving with me.
Mhm.
Just pause the video, Holly.
So it's gone. So you're good, Holly.
Yeah. Can you hear better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would Google Nick Ortner, Ortner, with the tapping solution.
She would. See, because when I jumped,
Still won't stop.
Like a spiritual experience.
Did you hear me?
In the chat.
Yeah.
Adele, can you put that in chat?
Put it in chat. Yeah, I can do that right now. Okay. Yeah, for Nick Ortner.
Okay. Did anybody else have questions or comments?
Thanks for sharing, Holly. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey.
Absolutely. Okay, we are actually quite early, but I'm sensitive to everybody's time. I know everyone has a really busy schedule. So I love the fact that we got to do this when we get back to the center, you guys, because we always run over at the center. So we got to be able to do this when we get back to the center to be on time and make these things happen quickly. I want to thank everybody for your participation. Please remember to look up Trending Thursday Tips. As I said before, we have 2 sessions that are coming up. And I'm just going to share our screen real quick. If you go to our website, you'll see Trending Tips. This Thursday, we have our virtual training. So if you do trainings or you want to learn how to do trainings online, this is going to be awesome. And next Thursday, Brandy Braxton is going to be with us, and she's going to be talking about, working through your cash flow during COVID-19.
Good.
So you can only sign up for one at a time, but if you sign up for this week, you can basically sign up for next week, but only one will show at a time.
VR.
Again, yes.
I think we have someone who would like to say something. I don't know if Catherine Ogie would like to say something. Raise your hand.
That's me. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say it was just so beautiful to hear Holly's story. It was so beautifully crafted. And I sat in my car. I wanted to go to run out to do the grocery. I thought, no, if I went into the store, I would miss on everything. So I sat in my car to listen to every word she shared. It was so beautiful. Thank you, because I've been dealing with a lot of fear. So just listening to her really helped me calm myself down. And I have the hope that if she can get through it, so can I. That was so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Sure. Thank you.
And definitely, if anyone else has questions or comments, because like I said, we have some time on our schedule. If you have any other comments or questions, we're open to hearing from you. Anybody? Okay, ladies, if you're not connected to the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center, make sure you go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. That will also get you in our database, so you'll get all our emails about events that are coming up. Make sure you mark your calendars for June 12th, Women's Veterans Day. We're going to be doing our virtual celebration online via Zoom Facebook Live from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You are not going to want to miss this. Those of you who are business owners, make sure you get in the game for our pitch competition for bragging rights for your branch, bragging rights for your city, and there will be some money on the table. We want to thank you guys for coming out. I'm not going to hold you. This has been recorded. It is also on Facebook Live if you want to go back and listen to it, or you want to share with other people that missed it. And we invite you back. Get ready for June. We'll be back in June for our next Women Warriors Winning the Business Battle. If there's anything that you want, any services, anything that you think you need and you don't know how to get it, email us, put it in the chat box. We will try and get someone to present, to bring that to the table. In fact, one of our members had asked about setting up an e-commerce site. We have someone we're lining up to do that. We have some attorneys who are actually military sisters that are going to be talking to us about what businesses need to do to protect themselves when you're opening back up with signage and policies and how you engage your employees. So we're working to make sure you have everything you need to get right back to business as quickly as possible. So mark your calendars for June 12th, and Women Warriors Winning the Business Battle will be back on June 17th. Ladies, have an amazing week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.